In the subordinate clause, the speaker as the subject is assumed to actualize an action described by the transitive verb opened in the past. The fact that the speaker states the subordinate clause in the past tense linked by the conjunctive verb if means that the speaker as the subject did not actualize the definition of the transitive verb opened in the past. And the the speaker links the actualization of the transitive verb opened with the integration of the two street stated by the application of the modal verb would in the main clause. The actualization of the transitive verb opened, the speaker intends to identify whether the actualization of the transitive verb, the definition of the transitive verb opened, is related to the integration of the two street into the one-way street, so that the subject in the main clause to be described by the transitive verb mind at the present. Is it related? We can find whether the actualization of the action in the past of the speaker is related to the integration of the two street into the one-way street, so that the subject in the main clause to be described by the transitive verb mind at the present. So we can understand that this question mark is about this linkage. Is it valid? Is the correlation valid between the action in the past that is assumed with the other assumed condition of the subject who are the listeners? We can understand these two clauses are on the milestone and the next step of the milestone. We can understand the subordinate clause is the milestone of the speaker as the subject in the past at the pinpoint number 2. And this point can be pinpoint number 2, and the speaker didn't open the window at the past, so the speaker went through the pathway of life through so that we can so that the speaker can arrive at the point number 1 at the present. So this question can be understood about the correlation with this assumption. If I opened the window, would you mind that means that is the correlation between the milestone and the assumed condition of the listeners valid? Other than this systemic understanding or in the syntax, the speaker who speaks this sentence to the listeners may intend to ask an allowance to the listeners about opening up the window. The listeners can respond to this question in the two ways. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. No, I would not. From the response, yes, I would mind that the speaker can understand that the speaker is not going to actualize the action described by the transitive verb open at the present. To an explanation that is hard to ask to the listeners, we can apply the way of analogy related to the past condition. This can be a way of the euphemism. The speaker intends to tell something about the present, but the speaker can feel a bit hard to ask the listeners directly, so the speaker can politely ask the listeners about the past condition with the way of the assumption. From the response, no, I wouldn't, by the listeners, the speaker can be relieved to actualize the definition of the transitive verb open at the present. This sentence includes the two clauses to deal with the two assumptions that are related. In this statement, that are related means that supposes that this sentence is stated in the declarative statement. However, the speaker intends to figure out the correlation between the action of the speaker in the past intends to figure out whether the action of the speaker in the past that is assumed to cause the condition or specific condition of the listeners that is also assumed. The speaker intends to understand the correlation, so the speaker can state the main clause into the interrogative clause. This sentence reveals that the action of the speaker, who is the subject in the subordinate clause, causes the condition of the listeners, who are the subjects in the main clause. Opened, mind, that are the two verbs in the subordinate clause and the main clause. The speaker wants to verify the validity that the condition of the listeners in the main clause indicated by the transitive verb mind is the effect of the action indicated by the transitive verb opened that the speaker assumes to actualize in the subordinate clause. The listeners who are the subject, so we can understand that this sentence is to acquire the prior agreement to actualize the action described by the transitive verb opened in the subordinate clause. The listeners who are the subject of the main clause decide whether the condition caused from the action indicated by the transitive verb opened is accorded with the condition indicated by the transitive verb mind or not. The two responses to this interrogative sentence are below. Yes, I would. I would say you do not open the window. The other response is this. No, I would not. I am okay with you opening the window. The speaker intends to actualize the action indicated by the transitive verb opened at the present. This can be understood from the fact that the one, our Lord, integrates the two-way street actualized in the main clause into the one-way street. As the one hears our prayer about our wish and hope. So delivering this sentence to the listeners can be how we are allowed by the one who tells us through our body. The speaker assumes the time as the past when the subject actualized the action indicated by the transitive verb opened because the speaker conveys the respect to the listeners. If I opened the window can be the milestone that the speaker did not actualize. And the fact that the main clause delivers the respectful intent of the speaker is able to be understood from the fact that the speaker only relies on the solemn will of the one who is going to answer to our question through the listeners.